pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
So I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Shoot. How in the hell do we end up in November?
Yeah. Okay, approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review them? Do I have a motion?
Yes, they look
Sorry.
good. So moved, Madam Chair.
Second?
Second.
Okay. Sorry. Now are there any comments? I apologize.
I have a couple.
Okay.
Flip your mic, yes. Where's my minutes? So on number 4, we have Conversation Commission instead of Conservation Commission.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
jeepers creepers.
And then, do we have 2 vice chairs or 1?
One.
So we've got Vice Chair Norton and Vice Chair Nelson. Do we flip a coin?
He's vice chair.
It's nice. Okay, you can tell how much. Where's,
So Vice Chair Norton is in number 3.
oh,
Vice Chair Nelson is in number 4.
all right, so it's just Commissioner Norton there?
That should be me. It shouldn't be, it should be Vice Chair Nelson, not Norton.
Vice chair Nelson.
I made that comment.
You made that? Okay.
Yeah, I made that
All right, so
comment.
they were right, they just got the wrong
Yeah.
name. Nelson, okay.
And then, did we ever get a definition on comfortable? Yeah, it would be number 7 on the, with the dogs. Did we ever come to a resolution about that?
Oh,
We'll cover that, like,
Okay.
old business.
All right, that was it.
Okay. All right, so do we want to make those edits before we approve the minutes?
Well, Madam Chair, I'll just amend my motion to approve the minutes as amended this evening, based upon the comments of Commissioner Ryan.
Okay. Do I have a second on that? All right, all those in favor?
Aye?
Aye.
500. All right, there is no public participation. So Brendan, you want to take it off with your report?
Sure. Just when those minutes get signed, if you send them down this way, I'll turn them in. Okay, just a quick update with our maintenance team has been working on, completed the spring fertilization and infill work on the athletic fields for springs, on infields and athletic fields for spring sports. Backflows and all the irrigations are in, and the systems are energized, and last week we began to turn them on. And they're operational, making any small repairs that we find, heads not spinning all the way, things like that. And then weekend shifts are ongoing now with youth sports started. They've been going since April, and emptying trash barrels in the parks, keeping the bathrooms stocked and clean over the weekend. And then we'll begin prepping the wading pool as soon as possible. On May 19th, this past Monday, we held our seasonal maintenance orientation. It was an opportunity to provide training to our seasonal staff. And had the police come in and talk about driver safety, which is a big thing for us. We do have 18-year-olds that work that are able to drive, and safe operation of town vehicles is important. Conservation came in and talked about some invasive species, poison ivy, how to identify what to do when you come across them. And then our staff spoke with the seasonal staff as well, our full-time maintenance administrators, so that, and then, as I mentioned, or may have mentioned, this is our second year, and we've already begun working on topics for next year. And then, as we continue, daily maintenance things, mowing and trimming on all the properties we maintain. With the rain a couple weeks ago, we did get a little behind. I think we're pretty caught up. Our trim crews haven't started. That's a lot of the seasonal are do trimming and stuff for us. So as we start to go out and cut all the properties again, we will catch up with the trimming as well. We did work some overtime shifts as well to catch up on some properties that needed more attention, that hadn't been cut in a little while. So it's a juggling act, getting athletic. We get calls about athletic fields being long. We get calls about schools and town buildings being long. So it's trying to prioritize and get all those done. But we had to add a couple shifts to take care, to get ourselves caught up. And then our staff has also supported some community events, the kindness event on the Common last weekend, and then the Scouts crossover ceremony. We had staff working those, as well as some of our special events helping there. Francis Wyman baseball field, if you hadn't seen, they did play, they played 3 games on it now. It was turned back over to the town from the contractor, and they played a game last Thursday, the 15th. I believe it was against Wilmington, and they did win. And then the project started last October, and they got a bunch of work done before the end of the year, and then picked it back up in April. They added, just for those of you who don't know, they added dugouts with roofs, new fencing, new backstop, moved the field about 27 feet out from where it was, further out towards the outfield, and put some electrical behind each dugout. Move some irrigation heads. They're all in the same zones. They just had to move some things to make sure they caught the new, all the new infield. Added a scoreboard, so it looks nice. Didn't have enough fencing to go in the budget to go all the way around. That's something that I know I've had conversations with the schools on, and we'll work on that. And then our plan is to, once the high school season is completely over, keep the field closed so we can keep it work on it over the summer, keep it seeded, fertilized, irrigated, and get a better stand of grass out there. It was thin in spots in areas that they didn't touch. So we will do that going forward. Wildmere Park, the new playground, important play surface have been installed, and this site work began in April, and then installation was completed the first week of May. We had to wait for weather, if you recall, for the port in place. It has to be above 50 for 2 to 3 straight days. Even overnight, can't get it, much lower than like 45. So the surface can cure. They came in last Friday and Saturday and completed everything, and it really looks nice. We have Crescio Hauling is coming in tomorrow to pick up all of the trash debris, the buckets, and all that stuff from the materials. The company doesn't take it with them because they just travel from town, city, town, whatever, putting in port in place. So, and they have the product delivered. So we'll get rid of that tomorrow morning is the plan, and then hopefully open the park right after for the weekend. So it looks great. If you haven't seen it, take a ride down there. 100% change from the last playground and everything. It really looks nice. It's good project. Town Common, as you probably noticed, the Common was overtaken by dandelions. Although they looked nice and yellow, they're not really, it shouldn't look that way. So it wasn't our plan to treat it this year. And it was treated last Friday by Greenhaven Turf. They're a licensed applicator. We used an herbicide to get rid of the dandelions and the other broadleaf that are out there. Also treat it for grubs, pre-treatment for grubs. And we have may have to treat it one more time this year, but we'll probably hit it early spring next year, and hopefully we won't have an outbreak like we did. I will say we spoke with our consultant at on athletic fields in general, and he was saying that up and down the East Coast, from like the Mid-Atlantic up through Maine, the dandelions this year, just big outbreak all over the place. But that was bigger than we've had in a few years, so hopefully we took care of that problem for some time going forward. We continue to work with volunteer groups to assist in spring cleanups, and including weeding, edging, and mulching of different beds in parks and town facilities. We have Simon's Properties scheduled to come in and work on the middle school sign, clean that up, and then at the bottom of at the intersection of Wynn and Center, there's a, where the Burlington, Welcome to Burlington, or Town of Burlington sign is, we have a planting bed there that's overgrown, so they're gonna work on those two areas coming up. And then Wright Pierce, which is a local engineering firm, are going to be coming in and working on the fire substation with us, so cleaning up the beds there and getting them mulched for the season. Town meeting, as you all know, our articles were fully supported at town meeting, and I'd like to thank town meeting for supporting the articles, and for you guys, for the Recreation Commission for supporting the articles. We'll begin working on specs for some of the projects, including the walkway project over at Simon's Park, the accessible walkway there, the walkways on the Common, the basketball court. Obviously, money is not available until July 1st, but we can start getting the specs ready and getting stuff out to bid, so we're ready to go as soon as possible. Obviously, the use of some of those facilities in the summer doesn't allow us to start work right away. We look at the fall for a lot of these things that we have ongoing programs and activities at. I have a couple things that I didn't include in the report that I've added to the report I sent you. We received a generous donation from the Middlesex Sheriff's Office, Project Earth program. Project Earth stands for Education and Rehabilitation Through Horticulture. It was launched in 2023 on the grounds of the Middlesex Jail and House of Correction. They provide incarcerated individuals an opportunity to work in a hands-on therapeutic farm environment. The Sheriff's Office has graciously donated 18 flats of mixed vegetables that they grew from seed, as well as some hanging plants. They donated them to us. Their Project Earth coordinator manager used to be our farmers market manager, and she thought of us. So we put out to everyone that leases a plot in the community garden, we put the flats up there, and we told anyone that wants them, go in and grab any of the vegetables that you want. The ones that aren't taken by our lease plot members will, Peter Capola and the Victory Garden Group will plant them in their side, so they will not go to waste. Peppers, tomatoes, broccoli, and different types of peppers. So it was very nice, and we're very thankful for them thinking of us. And then something going forward, we recently, our bucket truck that hangs Christmas lights and does tree trimming and other work around town when needed, was in for service. And the techs at Fleet Maintenance discovered that there was some issues that will shorten the life of the vehicle. There was some leaking in the hydraulic units for the back stabilizers. The shocks all the way around were worn and had to be replaced. The age of the truck, it's 15 years old. It took them over 3 days to source the parts for it. It's not a common vehicle in this area. So it took them a while for that. And then there is rotting between the subframe and the frame, which is going to shorten the life, as I mentioned, of the vehicle. I do have a meeting set up with fleet maintenance beginning of June to start to go through it a little more. The truck is operational, they've repaired the things, but they are things that are going to shorten the life. We have had internal discussions on whether we want to replace the bucket truck going forward or put money into our budget to rent a truck for the, short periods of time. There's certain times of the year where we need it no matter what, and then the other times of the year, it's, we use it for tree trimming and stuff, but if we know, if we can kind of, plan that out a little better, we might be better off just renting a vehicle and not having the, expense of a $90,000 bucket truck at a, in our fleet. So, and then all the repairs that go with it. As good as it was to get that truck, I think we got it 8 years ago, 9 years ago, somewhere in there. I think somewhere in there. It's been a dog for us. It has been an expense. So we'll start to work with fleet maintenance on that and see what our best option is going forward. So that's it for my report.
Comments, questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Madam Chair. You had mentioned the Francis Wyman baseball field. I stopped over there tonight. It is absolutely outstanding. I don't know if you've had a chance to see it, but it looks like a college or a semi-pro field. They did a phenomenal job. Who was the contractor, Brendan, who did that?
Heimlich.
Oh, Heimlich.
Yeah.
They do a lot of projects, and they always do good work. And it struck me when I saw the dugouts. Maybe we ought to think about installing something similar up at Simons Park, because they keep the kids dry if it's raining out. They're big and they're safe, and they're colorful. They look fantastic. So, with all the use that we get at Simons Park, might be an idea for us when we talk to the trustees, maybe helping us fund some updated dugouts up there. And I like the way they did the screen. They didn't just do a screen that was 60 feet tall. They did a screen that's about 15 feet tall, and then above that they have netting. And the netting goes all the way up onto extra tall telephone poles. So hopefully that's going to prevent the foul balls from going into the neighbors that we've been hearing about for 100 years. And they did push the home plate up closer to the center field area, so
Yes.
they moved it up.
Yep.
And it was just a great design, and the product looks great once the grass comes in. And I like the idea of staying off the field once the high school team finishes up with it. I did talk to the high school coach, and he said it was fantastic. They really enjoyed having a nice field to play on, and it's going to be even better next year. So kudos to Heimlich.
We hope so.
Yeah, kudos to Heimlich. The other comment I wanted to make, you had mentioned the bucket truck, and you mentioned, do we want to spend $90,000 to replace it? I would think it would cost a heck of a lot more than $90,000 for a bucket truck. We're paying $90,000 now for a pickup truck.
Right.
Without the bucket.
Yeah, it probably would be more than that, and it depends the size we get to. Will we need one as big?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to jump back, if I can, Madam Chair, on the dugouts we have. That is something we're looking at with the approved athletic field improvement money this year. And baseball is interested in potentially helping with that. So putting roofs on the dugouts at Simons.
Good. That's good. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Madam Chair. So, don't disagree with leasing, renting, or having some kind of contract vehicle to get bucket truck services. I think maybe what we would relook, though, is the amount we ask for the trees, sidewalks, and fencing, because we're going to have to absorb that cost somehow. And I think that, based on maybe doing something with the school committee again, would be ideal for that, because there will be some questions about response times and how we're going to get that managed if we get rid of the bucket truck. So it'd be something I'd be interested in kind of exploring further.
Okay.
Madam Chair, so Brandon, on the bucket truck, I remember when we went through the bucket truck last time when we purchased it. We had issues with the prior one. We purchased this one. And we talked about the leasing aspect of it or renting. Now, that's a bit, so no one else has a bucket truck, right? And, we're not talking, did DPW have one?
Yeah, Highway has a smaller one. I think ours goes 40 feet. I think theirs was going to do the same, 30 feet? 30, I believe theirs was going to do 30.
So the homework on that would be obviously putting up the Christmas lights. What else we would use it for, if we look into how much it would cost us to rent it per time we're going to, obviously the longest time would probably be the Christmas lights with the weather and everything. And then the cost, because they are expensive. You're talking, and the maintaining of them, because they really don't drive a whole lot. So they're sitting a lot, and that's half the problem that, the hydraulics and all that type of stuff, and it needs, we talked about this before, it's very costly to keep these things maintained in proper condition because they got to get inspected and everything. So if we come up with the price is how much it's going to cost us per year, so we could actually put it into maybe the budget of when we go to town meeting for certain things, the price cost evaluation on that truck. And then just one other question, Madam Chair, on the dandelions. I know it was a bit, but I know the selectmen are in charge of the common, but is there any, and we take care of it, obviously. So that was a big thing this year. I mean, it was crazy how many dandelions there were. So can we implement it? Can we have the selectmen approve us to put, like how we do the weed control? I mean, it's the most notable spot in the town of Burlington. It's beautiful. So is that something we can do? Is that something that selectmen have to?
No, we just added it as a treatment this year. We were looking to.
I know we don't have irrigation.
No, we were looking to treat it this year with the approval of the athletic field warrant article. It allowed our operating budget, where we were trying to do all of the athletic fields, it loosened up some room there so we can treat that area that we hadn't been able to treat in the past. So, like I said, it was treated. I think we'll have enough money in the budget there next year. If it needs a full treatment or just a spot treatment, we'll be able to do it again. But I was also able to add fertilizer and seed there before we did it, as funds were available. Now, we can add that property into our operating budget and not the athletic field budget, but in the operating budget to overseed and fertilize.
Yeah. I speak
So
personally
we
just
bring
for
the
me.
common back.
Yeah, because I mean, it's the crown jewel of the town, so, I think that's a very important thing going forward as we maintain that we try to get those weeds under control. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
I just have a quick question on Wildmere. It's a very small park, right? Is there anything we can do with it? I know you just redid it, but behind it, is that all wetlands, or is that Woburn?
Both.
Both? Okay.
Yes, both.
Yes, okay. That was really what I wanted to curious about.
Yeah.
See if we could expand it at all, but if
Yeah.
it's wetlands and Woburn, we're out of luck.
We actually, with this design, did expand the park in some ways because the playground there before was very big. We probably shrunk it in half, I think half. So, we regraded everything, so it's now, give some more play area once the grass grows in. And we're going to come back and put an accessible pathway, redo the pathway that comes in the park, in the middle of the park, past the flagpole, and put an accessible path right to the playground. Because we had to change the level of the playground and the path was not accessible. So that will be coming this summer.
Madam Chair, just one other comment.
Yep.
So I obviously own a business. Residents are very happy with how it came out, just talking to, and they were wondering when it was going to open up. So this weekend, maybe tomorrow afternoon.
Should be. Yep.
But good job by the company, and hopefully, you know, it was well done, and it came out nice, so.
Yeah.
Good job to everyone. Thank you.
Just one question.
Sure.
How many seasonal staff members did you hire this year?
On the maintenance side?
On maintenance, yeah.
Yep, there was 9 altogether.
And is that the normal number?
It fluctuates. 8 is, 8 is average. So, you know, the 9 is good because people take time off.
Yeah.
You know, oh, I need this week off, and then they get invited somewhere, or their family decides they're going away again. So to have 9 is probably one higher than normal, but, you know.
Great,
Yeah.
obviously, you know.
Yeah, not everyone's, we used to have people starting in April. We don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
You know, they're not available until May, usually, in June, the majority of them in June.
Yeah, okay, great. Any other questions?
One other quick question, Madam Chair. A question from my granddaughter. She wants to know when the shade is going up at Wildwood. She was on that hot slide the other day when the sun was out.
I believe it's going up next week.
Thank you.
Yep.
She'll be happy.
Spending a lot of time at Wildwood these days.
Actually, one other quick question. Look, I never usually ask questions, but, so the kids, seniors, do internships. Maybe we could hire them just for that month when, you know, these kids are looking for a job for 6 weeks, right?
Yeah,
I mean, this is a lot of kids don't get an internship. We could hire them to help, you know, that's our busiest time, like April, May, the 6 weeks to graduating next week. And it's just a learning type, maybe that's something we could talk to the school committee about, or?
We have had one in the past do maintenance as their internship, and we have one in the office currently.
Yeah,
So
so that's
if they
something
show
we-
interest, you know, we'll find
Yeah.
work for
okay,
'em.
Okay, that's all. Interesting.
okay. All right, Kelly?
Thank you. So I'm going to start with the Overlook project. As you're aware, we're attending many meetings while we work to secure all the necessary permits for the Overlook project. Did I stress many too much there? Is that
No.
what that's for? Okay. I did include the remaining schedule below, and we're hopeful that we're able to secure all the necessary permits within the next couple of weeks. Once the permits have been obtained, we'll begin work finalizing the documentation and putting the project out to bid. We did have yesterday a subcommittee meeting with the Board of Health, which went reasonably well. I think we should be getting approval on Tuesday night. As you all are aware, in about 20 minutes, we have a meeting at Conservation. So hopefully they will be issuing their permit this evening. And then in a couple weeks, we'll be back at the Planning Board for our official public hearing on June 5th at 6:30, where hopefully they will be able to provide the permit for the site plan.
Good.
Programming and therapeutic recreation divisions have both been working really hard on preparing for summer. There's a lot of work that goes into preseason, and they have been doing an amazing job. They have planned on holding what we call Directors Camp, where we bring all of our directors in and we set expectations for the summer. We provide a training that's specific for them and their needs for summer. During that Directors Camp week, we will also be holding an open house. The first time we'll be holding an open house for all of our programs. We have done therapeutic recreation open houses specifically previously, but now we're opening it up to everybody who's registered to come and meet directors and ask questions about their programs. That is on June 4th, and that will be held at Grandview Farm. Additionally, they are working on onboarding all of the new staff. I'm happy to say, as of this afternoon, I believe we are almost fully staffed. I think there's only like 1 or 2 positions left, which is amazing for this time of year. Try to get it done before Memorial Day, which is never an easy task, and they're doing an amazing job at it. And they are also working on finalizing the summer staff orientation, which is scheduled for June 24th through the 26th. That'll be 3 comprehensive days of training for all of our summer team members, and they will have different sessions they'll be able to go to. We hold it conference style at Grandview Farm. It's very well received by our staff, and they do get a lot out of it, and it really shows throughout the summer. So they've been really hard at work making sure that we're setting all of our staff up for success this summer. Additionally, we're also excited to have 2 interns join us this summer for their college internships. The first of the interns, her name is Kylie. She will be the program intern. She is coming to us from Salem State. We are excited to have Kylie on board. She seems very excited to learn about all the ins and outs of community rec, and is excited to see all the different programming that we have to offer. The second, her name is Eva, and she will be joining us as the therapeutic recreation intern from the University of Iowa. We are very excited to have her on board. She has met with Emma. I haven't actually met her yet, but I'm so excited to hear. And Emma is also excited to hear about therapeutic recreation in a setting that isn't necessarily New England. As we've talked about many times, once you leave New England, it's a little different how a lot of departments function, specifically in the TR world. So we're excited to have her on board. And both of them will start on Tuesday, May 27th, so just a couple days from now. So they are also busy preparing for them to come. And throughout our time with us, they'll be immersed in programming, meeting with our program and administrative staff, and learn the ins and outs of the office, and all of the intricacies of our programs, which is no small task. So we're excited that they'll be joining us. And finally, the spring special event updates. So our staff held 2 special events last weekend on May 17th simultaneously. The first was the community yard sale, which kicked off at 9 a.m., 9 to 2. There was yard sales all across the community, but also a site at Memorial where people could come, and we provided tables, and we called it our community site, and people could bring their yard sale items there if they didn't want to sell them at their home, and they could sell them there. And then we also had the Family Fishing Festival at Mill Pond from 10 to 1. Both events were really well attended. We've got some really great feedback from the community on the yard sale as well as the fishing festival, and we are excited that the little rain that came that afternoon certainly held off long enough for our events to be finished. It's never fun when you're cleaning up in the rain. Finally, the upcoming special events. Summer really starts our special event kind of incline. We will start to have concerts on the Common in the 3rd week in June, the 24th and the 25th. The Great American Campout at Simons Park, where we camp out at the park overnight, will be held June 6th and 7th in just a couple weeks. We kick off children's shows in the afternoon on Thursdays at Simons Park on July 3rd. July, my goodness. Our Rahanis Open is held on July 12th and 13th, and then we sort of close out our summer special event season with Celebrate Burlington on August 2nd, and we are still looking for sponsors and nonprofits who are willing to join us, so you can check out our website for more information, or you can email me directly. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Comments? Questions?
A couple comments or questions, I guess. On the interns,
Yeah.
Eva, is she from Burlington? 'Cause she's coming a long way from Iowa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she sure is.
That's pretty
She sure
interesting
is.
that she wanted to join us here in Burlington.
Wanted to come to the East Coast, so
Yeah,
Really?
fascinating.
So she's not from around here?
she's not from around here, no.
Wow.
Yep.
I figured she was just a resident.
My only other comment, and every time I see this, I'm going to ask Brendan about it. The Family Fishing Festival at Mill Pond, has there been any follow-up on potentially opening up the driveway so that people that have access issues can maybe get to the top of the
So
top of that driveway?
we provide a shuttle, and if someone in your party has a mobility issue, they can drop off at the top of the driveway or take the shuttle. We encourage them to take the shuttle. So we have overflow parking because we don't want to fill up the spots down at the bottom at Marshall Simons on the backside of the school, and then we use the COA van this year, which has,
But is there any hope of opening it up, like on a daily basis
yeah,
from
we'd
9
have
to
to,
5?
we'd have to work with DPW, and they oversee that property, so we'd have to see. I know in the past, they've not wanted to encourage driving up there. So,
Can you reopen the discussions on that when you get a minute? I know you got
Yep.
a lot on your agenda, Brendan. I'm not
Yep.
trying to load you up with things to do,
we
but
can do that.
kind of a long-range goal, maybe, to open it up. And I've talked to several people who have raised issues about that. They can't get up, you used to be
I know,
able to park up there years ago.
Yeah,
And you
you
could
used to be
fish
able
and you
to.
could enjoy the, you can't really enjoy the pond if you have any type of disabilities, at all.
Well,
It's hard to access it, unless you come in from one of the side streets, that surround the pond, but.
I know the DPW was concerned about that being open, cars going up there, especially when our water, before we, MWRA, we hooked up the, we had a lot, so that was from being on various stuff with the DPW. We haven't got back to, but I know that was a reason before. I don't, like, we can look into it again, like
Yeah,
you
my-
said, but
my
I know
only-
that was a factor
I
before.
hear you, David. My only comment on that would be that if somebody wanted to do some damage to that, they'd put a backpack on and they'd run up in the woods and they'd do damage. They wouldn't drive a car up there with a
Right.
license plate
Well,
on and do it.
I
you
agree
know?
with you. I have no problem with opening up or how it all, how it's monitored. But I know that was the reason before,
I hear you, yeah.
so. It wasn't
look
more, it
into it.
wasn't more on our end, it was more
Right.
on the DPW
Yeah.
end. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, I'm good.
Kelly, I have two questions.
Love it.
One.
I have 2 answers.
Okay. Volunteers, anybody who signed up to volunteer during registration,
Yep.
when will they be,
The beginning of June. So
Beginning
like
of
when our
June?
directors officially come on is usually when we start reaching out and doing like little informal interviews just to kind of chat with them about their needs and the program needs, and just develop a schedule for them.
okay, perfect. Great.
Yep.
I've gotten that question. And another thing that you're missing on your report, Springapalooza, May the 4th.
Oh, May the 4th.
How did it go?
Yes.
I heard great things about it.
I love it.
From the neighbors and everything else, but,
Yeah, no, I must have slipped my mind. May the 4th was amazing. They did a great job kicking off Springapalooza with the themed event. Chewbacca was there. Kylo Ren?
Yes.
I don't know Star Wars very well, but there was another character
Millennium
with Chewbacca.
Falcon landed.
The Millennium Falcon was the showpiece for sure. It was like a 5-room inflatable bounce house that had some slides inside it. It was very cool, and a nice piece for us to have to celebrate the day. We also had Steve Nugent's Institute come and do 2 separate Jedi trainings with lightsabers. I was like, what are they called? With lightsabers. And every kid got to go home with an inflatable lightsaber. And the garden club was there, and they were making seed cups with in cones, sunflower seeds in cones for kids to go home and plant. The library was there celebrating their events as well. It was so much fun. There was a lot of people there, and we got a lot of great feedback from it. So they did knock that one out of the park. It was amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great
During
to
the
hear.
lightsaber demo training, it was awesome. There was like 40 kids out there with lightsabers,
And
all
their
doing
dads.
yep, in a big circle, and then in different. It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
It was a beautiful, and the weather was great.
Yeah.
It was a nice day. Yeah.
One of the few.
Yes, right? Like it was not raining, so that was good.
Yeah, that's the bar. If it's not raining, it's a beautiful day.
It was not
Right.
raining on a weekend.
Yeah.
All right, great. I have nothing on the chairman's report. Are there any subcommittee reports?
No.
Okay, then Brendan, I am going to leave the meeting to you,
Okay.
and we will work on reorganization.
Sure. Thank you. I have some big changes. No. While I have taken over the meeting, I am, at this point, entertaining nominations for chair. And then, once we have that decided, we will turn it back over to the chair, and they will take for vice chair. So,
Mr. Acting Chair,
Yes.
I would nominate Lindsay to do a second term as chairman of the commission.
Okay, thank you.
I second that.
All right, do we have any discussion or anything?
I just want to say she's done a great job, and I'm sure she'll do an excellent job in the year coming up.
As long as you sit next to me, we're good.
I'll second that.
All right? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we have 4-0-0. Congratulations, and the meeting's turned back over to you.
All right, can I have any nominations for vice chair?
Madam Chair, I nominate Mr. David Norton, to serve as vice chair for the upcoming year.
I'll second it.
Second. Okay, any discussion?
No?
All right?
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
4-0-0. All right, great.
Congratulations, guys.
great. Okay. Subcommittee assignments. Brendan, I actually have my notes from last year,
Okay,
and it looks like some things had changed since 2023.
okay.
Like Commissioner Norton had actually taken the dog park.
All right.
I don't know, we can just go through it
Nope,
again.
that's fine. You know what? It
I mean, we're going to
didn't
go
get
through the list
recorded
again.
then in our folder, so
Okay.
if you have the one from 2024, I shared one with Greg when he came in, and I think I had put your name, Greg's name where
Bill's was?
Bill's was, just as an idea, so he knew what was, what the prior person did. So let's go off of your list from 2024.
Okay, so Burlington Area Chamber of Commerce, we have you, Brendan.
Yep,
Community Preservation Act, we actually still had Bill.
okay.
I have a question, Madam Chair. Do we need that anymore?
Yeah.
I don't know if it will come back around. Is it, we could not have anything and then appoint if we need?
Tell you what, I'll do it.
All right.
If it's not going to come around.
You're a rock star.
It'll be easy.
Okay,
Good thinking.
All right, so
I know-
that's going to be Greg.
Yeah, Bill was on, and then Commissioner Sullivan when
Yep.
it was a big deal going on.
when it was a deal, and most likely, we can have. Dog Park, I had Commissioner Norton on. Obviously, the dog park hasn't met in quite some time, but Commissioner Norton, do you want to keep that?
Yeah, I'll keep it.
Okay.
I like dogs.
Field maintenance, I had myself on that. I don't know if anybody wants to take my place or if I want to keep it because of the MSMS fields. I don't know if it makes more sense for me to stay on it.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, so Lindsay?
Human Services, Commissioner Nelson.
I'm happy to stay on that subcommittee.
Master Plan, I also have Commissioner Nelson.
I'll stay on it, but it's not really doing anything right now.
Yeah.
So like Greg, I'll stay on that one.
Open Space and Recreation, we had former Commissioner Gaffney on.
I'll keep it. I'll replace him, I should say.
Yeah, nothing's been done with it, at least in my tenure here.
No.
All right. Overlook Park Development and Improvements, I think we had both Commissioner Norton and Commissioner Nelson.
I'll stay on.
Yeah, I'll stay on it. Dave, you want to stay on it with me?
Yeah.
Planning Board? All right, Safe Parks?
An easy one.
Commissioner Norton, we had
Yeah.
you on that?
Yeah.
Commissioner Brooks? Sculpture Park, FKA, Sculpture Park Public Arts.
Should we change that name?
Yeah, it's now PA, Public Arts Committee.
No, why
That's
did they
you, Lindsay?
change the name to Public Arts?
That's me.
More than just sculptures?
Because we've gone beyond the borders of the sculpture park. Now it's about public arts and putting public art in many different locations and getting art out there into the community.
So you're going to stay on that one, Madam Chair?
I can stay on that one. Simon's Park and Simon's Trust, I had Commissioner Nelson. I don't know if anybody wants to.
I'm happy to stay on it.
Yeah.
I like to.
Sold.
Let me know when the next meeting is, Brendan. I want
You got
to,
it.
I want to attend the next meeting.
Youth Sports, originally, it sounds like Commissioner Norton was on it last year. I have myself on there now from what happened, from last year.
Well, you appointed, well, you were, because you were. your
Because I'm
kids are-
doing the
your
march
kids are-
assignments
yeah,
too. Yeah, okay, so I'll
I
keep
mean, you're
that
still
too.
involved in more, you and Jeremy.
Yeah, we've
So it's good that you guys get your
Relaxing.
ear to the,
Okay,
to the, what's going on the youth sports more than.
all right. So subcommittees have been done. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
But we have one more.
Oh, we have one
Sorry.
more?
Yes, that didn't get on there, Hall of Fame.
Hall
And
of
I
Fame.
think Commissioner Norden was on that
Yes.
for this year, so we'll keep him on there. Oh, well, it's up to you guys.
Yes,
That's fine.
okay. Are there any other subcommittees? I apologize for breaking you off.
No, that was, I knew there was one more that we hadn't gotten on here before, so.
Great. Okay. Any old business to cover? Commissioner Ryan, you had asked about
I had asked about what?
something in the
word
minutes.
comfortable?
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I had a different question, though, because when you got, because since I am on planning board, and this is just this isn't a yay or a nay or a good or a bad, it's just an all-out question. What would it cost to put bathrooms at Overland Park?
So we have been working with the Burlington Players, who would like to renovate the bathrooms.
So there are bathrooms already there.
There's bathrooms inside, in the theater building. They're not accessible from the outside, easily accessible from the outside. Our plan, like in all of our parks, we will have portable toilets there. So there will be toilets. There is not toilets per se right now. So in order to get toilets inside, bathroom facilities inside, we need access from the outside. So that's a co-project that we're working on, and they were funding a large portion of that.
Because I know
All of it.
I know it came up with the conversation about the amphitheater.
Yep.
It's seating 75 people. If we could somehow make it doable. Not this year.
Yep.
Put it on the plan, because I think that's something the planning board was interested in.
Yes, so there will be portable toilets outside, one, probably, maybe two, but it is something we are working on.
Okay.
Yep, and I think that will be mentioned when we go back
All
in
right.
2 weeks. Yep.
I have a follow-up question, Madam Chair, and Mr. Ryan's question. The existing bathrooms up there, are they tied into town sewer, or are they in a septic system?
Yes, town sewer.
Okay, thank you.
Are we going to be covering the policies that we had discussed at the past couple meetings? Will we be covering those at the next meeting? Yeah, okay. I assumed, just wanted to ask.
And specifically for the question you had asked, we are reaching out to the animal control officer. I was like, what is that?
On the comfort
On the comfort level, and specifically the dog or the pet policy in and of itself, so that we could get some feedback from there.
Okay.
Just for enforcement kind of purposes as well.
Great. Okay, any other business of any kind?
No. all set.
Okay, should we schedule the next meeting?
Yes.
Yes. So it's the 22nd. I'm assuming we'll go to like once a month for June and July?
Summer?
Sure.
You want to do does the 16th work?
Of June?
Yes. It gives us 3 weeks.
Are you playing in the police tournament? That's that day.
That's fine, I'll be back.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
When is Marshall Simon's graduation?
Oh, it's the 17th.
Okay, then I'm okay with the 16th.
I'm like, it's not coming up on my calendar, so you're
All
good.
right, cool. All right, good.
All right, so June 16th?
Right here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I will triple check that it's available, but we're back to Mondays, it's usually available.
Okay.
All right, so we'll go for June 16th. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So motion.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
excellent.
This is much quicker.
Oh, yeah.
Much quicker than the planning board.